the top of his game, he can be effective, but when he is on, he is special.
Well, you saw Kevon Looney just stay tall, not commit the foul as Gary Harris ran into him. And this is where the Warriors want to score in transition. The Nuggets knew that and got back into their 2-3 zone. And Wiggins lasers in a three. So Oubre missed one, but Andrew Wiggins hits his first triple.
His eyes lit up when he saw Nikola Jokic on him. He's like, I got to go at this dude's life. Just get a little separation, knock it down.
Little two-man game, Jokic and Murray. They begin almost every possession with those two and then satellite off of them. Shot clock down to 5, and beautiful cut by Gary Harris to flip it up and in.
You always have to be alert off the ball on defense with this team. If it's Nikola Jokic with the ball, that time Jamal Murray made a nice backdoor pass, and Jamal Murray almost came up with one there. He's going to try to go through his legs behind the back dunk if he got off on the break there. But Wiggins going to work against Nikola Jokic. Look at the separation he got. And that's one thing about this Nuggets team, right? That's still the weak spot for them. Nikola Jokic on the defensive end. Guys are going to attack him, not just in one-on-one, but in pick and roll, too. Let's see if the Warriors take advantage of him.
Well, Jeremy Grant went to Detroit, so Michael Porter Jr., who pulled that rebound, a lot of expected of him offensively. Millsap is the veteran, and he got the veteran foul call on Eric Paschall. But you think about Denver, came from 3-1 down, win a 7-gamer against Utah. 3-1 down to the Clippers, win a 7-gamer against the Clippers. And then they ran into a Laker team. And I still think Mike Malone would say, if Anthony Davis didn't hit that three, Mike Malone would have been, hey, wait a minute, we could have given the Lakers even a longer series.
There is no quit in this team. They got Gary Harris back, who almost knocked down that three there. But it's fun to watch when a team is inspired and they're playing for each other and they're having a good time like the Warriors were doing when they're at their best. Love watching that.
Now, Paschall missed the three, and I think in the early going, the Warriors have already taken 4 threes, and that will not be their game as much this year as it's been in previous seasons.
Well, with Klay Thompson, shout out to Klay Thompson. Get well soon. We're praying for you. But with him out, that's going to hurt you, obviously, when it comes to shooting. So, again, the half-court offense is going to be a work in progress. Make sure everybody knows what they're doing. When Steph Curry is coming towards you, set a screen for him, move, pass. Make sure you get the ball moving, but you got to get out in transition. Do that, you got to get some stops, maybe get some deflections, take advantage of your athleticism on the defensive end as Michael Porter Jr. made a really good defensive play there on Kelly Oubre, who's going to be attacking the basket a lot this season. Here's the block. Just moving his feet, and that's one thing that Michael Porter Jr. is making sure he's working on, because guys were going at him on this side of the floor.
Yep.
Defensively, his lateral quickness, he's got the physical tools to be a really good defender, but he's just got to work on it. And obviously, he's taken that to heart.
Wiggins turned it over, and Porter runs the floor, and that you'll see that the one-hand pickup gets stolen in the NBA so often. Guys are so talented on both ends. As Steph Curry hits the three, and like you said, dribble handoff, set a screen, and open up the best shooter in the world.
Whoever Nikola Jokic is guarding, go set a screen for Steph, because he doesn't want to be up on the ball screens. He's going to drop, and Steph is going to have that shot all night.
Love the fact that Kevon Looney is moving around healthy again. Curry had made one, missed the three there.
Steph looks kind of swaggy with the headband. He's got the new Curry brand kicks on. Had a nice summer. You know, he was itching to get back and play.
Porter, you can't give him even an ounce of daylight. I mean, he is as good a stroke for a young-looking, a good-looking big right there. That was beautiful.
He shoots the three ball really well. And early on in the bubble, he was showing out. And then he contributed in the playoffs. That's nice to see from Kelly Oubre.
All right, so you spell corner with a C and Kelly with a K, but Kelly in the corner is above 40% for his career. So
repeat all that. Can you repeat everything you just said?
I'm just saying, Kelly in the corner. Get used to that, because, the thing is, and you were a good three-point shooter. Now, Steph can shoot a three from anywhere, right?
Yeah,
he has no favorite spots. They're all good. But if you're not Steph Curry, find your sweet spots and shoot more of your threes from there.
And that's a good look from Eric Paschall. Kelly Oubre Jr.'s defender was a little further off than he probably should have been, cheating off of him a little bit, and Kelly Oubre made him pay.
I mean, 22 feet's different than 23.9. I'm not a math major, but I know it's shorter.
And this is where I really like Kelly Oubre on this side. You saw the ball pressure there. Super active hands. This is what you want to do to get some stops. There you go. Get some deflections. That's fine. Get some deflections and get active on the defensive end so you can get out and run.
The shot clock was down to 2, but the kickball will recycle it to 14. I see Jokic. You play with him, you better be ready because he's such a good passer. And Jamal Murray, they put him on the block on Steph there for the little fadeaway.
Well, he's got a little size advantage on Steph. He's got some post game. He's got a lot to his game. Gotta love Jamal Murray.
So Looney just given that 3. And whether it's Looney or Marquise Chris or eventually Wiseman, they're going to sag on the Warrior bigs and see if they have anybody who can stretch the floor at that position. Millsap well defended. Kevon Looney plays defense like breathing.
And he just switched off of him perfectly there. The little handoff screen, get out there and contest, and then you reward yourself on the other side. Got to get back, though.
Wiggins made the 3, and Harris made him pay. Yeah, don't strut after you hit the 3 if you're the last line of defense.
Listen, this isn't a team that plays fast, but they are opportunists. When they have an opportunity to get the ball out and they see someone.
With you at Chase Center, preseason game 1 with the Warriors up 12-11. Now 33% on threes is 50% on 2s. So if you do better than 1 out of 3, theoretically, that would be very efficient, right?
Definitely.
Well, what if you start 4 of 9 as a team shooting 3s? That seems to be good.
That works. Take advantage of mismatches. If Nikola Jokic is on you and you're Andrew Wiggins, go to work. Steph Curry, handoff, screens, those work because Nikola Jokic doesn't want to be up on those screens. And you got to love Kelly Oubre spotting up in the corner. That's just good ball movement. Good vision from Eric Paschall. Catch the defense in a compromised position. Make them pay.
So you made a great point. If the 3 comes off good ball movement, that's fine. If you just settle for 3s with no movement, that's not what Steve Kerr wants to see.
Oh, yeah. You got to get good shots. Your shot selection has to be on point, especially with this group. And the ball movement has to be on point.
So Oubre missing the 3 there off the Steph creation. Yeah, they run Jokic as the hub. But how about Oubre met Porter up top?
Yeah, Oubre had this. He was behind there, and he recovered really well. Michael Porter Jr. had to step on him.
And that was a foul after Kevon had turned that over. But off that Oubre defense, you saw the Warriors in transition. They're going to try to run. They'll make some mistakes running every once in a while, but you will not see them slow it up this year as Marquise Chris checks in for Kevon Looney. And Steve Kerr said that everybody in uniform is going to play tonight. And we're going to welcome back an old friend here.
There he is.
Yeah, is that not only Steve Kerr, but Kent Bazemore is back in the building.
That's a good pickup. You needed some wing depth. Again, they addressed some of the needs that they had, and wing depth was one of those things. You brought in Kelly Oubre Jr. Now you got Kent Bazemore, who's just a solid veteran, understands how to play. He'll knock down threes. He shot 38% when he was with Sacramento last year from three-point range. But he is an opportunist. He'll take his drives when they're there. Good player.
And Millsap missing there, and then Jokic sneaking in. Now, you did get a look at the whole Warrior coaching staff. No more coat and ties.
Nah.
Don't have to wear the coat and ties anymore.
Yeah.
You know who's next for that? Broadcasters.
Well, you give a little, take a little. And there, you know, you got to wear masks so you don't have to dress up as much.
Get the ties out of there. They did that in Orlando, and the Coaches Association voted. Okay, but what they want is uniformity. Either everybody's wearing a coat and tie on your staff, and then everybody's wearing golf shirts, with the dress slacks and things like that. What they don't want is a mismatch of,
Right.
of all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah, they all look good. Wearing the same shirt.
Porter, man, what a great quick release, and you just can't ever leave him.
He can do a lot offensively, and you can do a lot with him. That time was just a wide pin down screen. It's Kent Bazemore.
See, that's just that scattered break, but if it's a guy like Bazemore Oubre, get it ahead, and that's a better shot than milking the shot clock and maybe forcing something else.
As soon as he gets in the game, he's having an impact. You got to love that. That's one thing we were talking about, too. When you join a team, get to whatever it is you do.
Well, the Bazemore-Curry friendship is well documented. And Bazemore got the big money in Atlanta. Then he got moved to Sacramento and Portland. And so his choice this year as a free agent to come back for the Dubs. I think that Bob Myers, whether it be Brad Wanamaker, who we'll see tonight, Bazemore, and Kelly Oubre, I think the Warriors had a very good offseason. And then, oh, by the way, got James Wiseman and Nico Mannion as Monte Morris, fresh off a contract extension, checks in for the Nuggets.
You needed some secondary ball handling. Brad Wanamaker. He's not going to be flashy. It's kind of a blue-collar point guard, but he just knows how to play the game. Really good decision maker, good pick-and-roll player, good vision. Not on the same page, Steph and Eric Paschall.
But now what's interesting, remember, these other guys haven't played with Steph really either.
No, they haven't. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're going to see not only the preseason, but through the early part of the season, this is a Warrior group that has not played much together whatsoever.
They will build the chemistry.
Michael Porter Jr. off back iron. Marquise Chris stayed with that rebound again. Anything you can get transition. And Oubre finishes. That is going to be the Warriors 2020-2021 right there, that play.
And he knew Michael Porter Jr. was bearing down on him from behind, so he compensated for that. Euro step and just fade away to his right as Michael Porter Jr. is flying in from his left.
Jokic, the face up on Marquise. Going to try to back him down. A little spin move, and then just the skills of Nikola Jokic.
Pivot game, footwork. He's so slippery. How do you guard a guy like that? He's got every shot, flip shots, mid-range jumpers. Tough.
Eric Paschall.
That jumper looks good.
It does, and it's very smooth. There was a jump and a little bit of a hitch last year.
Yeah.
Now it's just kind
Okay, timeout muna guys. Timeout. Timeout muna guys. Shoutout muna sa lahat dyan. Kay Nico, kay Al, kay Gian. Ayan. Guys, share nyo naman yung natin, stream natin. Sa mga nanonood dyan, share nyo naman. Then subscribe nyo na rin yung YouTube channel ko. Yun lang. Yun lang guys. Araw-araw tayo magla-livestream. Supportahan nyo, susuportahan ko rin kayo. Balikan lang tayo guys. Shoutout muna dyan habang commercial pa. Shoutout kay Jairus. So, ayan, shoutout sa'yo idol. Pa-share ng stream. Shoutout kay John Joel. Paano ma-shoutout yung pangalan nito? Japanese, Chinese ba yan? Like and share nyo kasi yan. Tama yun. Like and share guys. Kesa naman sa'yo umasa. Hindi dapat pinapakita ang ads para hindi ma-block. Ayan guys, di ko nga pinapakita yung matago. Shoutout kay John Joel Angelo. Joshua, shoutout. Share nyo yung stream natin guys. Saka mag-follow na rin kayo sa page, saka sa YouTube account. para lagi tayong updated. Wala naman siguro mahirap doon. Libre lang naman yun. Shoutout kay Ran, Kenneth, Umali. Yan, shoutout sa'yo, Lodi. Okay na. Miami Peach, kay JC Arnedo, shoutout kay Jet. Ayan, shoutout sa lahat. Ayan. Kay John Joel, yan, idol, salamat. Okay na, share ko na. Salamat, Lodi. Follow nyo na rin yung YouTube channel ko. Kay Proylan, yan. Nood lang guys, Walter Strokan. Ayan, tama yun. Nood lang kayo. Hindi mag-away-away. Wala ba? Game na guys, game na.
He's looking to pass. He's looking for cutters, and then, oh, by the way, Akeem Olajuwon smiling somewhere after the nice feet work.
He's so creative. The feet work, the pivot game is on point. And we talked about him defensively. He's working on that defensively. And one thing about this Denver Nuggets team, they did lose Mason Plumlee.
Yeah.
So one of their needs was front court depth. They brought in Zeke Naji, who we'll probably see later. He's super athletic. Question mark on the defense. And look at this press from the Warriors.
Well,
work on it. It's preseason.
No, that's
Might
it.
as well.
That's it. I mean, how do you play defense? How do you force transition?
There you go.
And there's a steal. And here comes the Warriors running. Wanamaker out to Bazemore to lay it up
Smart,
and in.
Smart. You see how he jumped into Nikola Jokic there to negate his shot blocking ability. Nikola's not much of a shot blocker anyway, but might as well jump into him and make it even more certain that you can finish.
So Juan Toscano Anderson is in. Jordan Poole is in. Bazemore, Marquise Chris, and Brad Wanamaker. Monte Morris finding Michael Porter. And that's a nice drop-off for a young player to sense that Jokic was there. Porter's an offensive guy, but that was a nice delivery on the pass.
Off the ball defense with this team. See man and ball. That's how that happened there. The cut.
Timeout na naman guys. Timeout. Shoutout ulit tayo. Kay Gian. Sino may birthday kanina? Kay Ron. Yan, shoutout sa'yo, Lodi. Yan, shoutout sa'yo, Lodi. Timeout pa eh. Nag-timeout. Shoutout kay Gian Matias. O yan, shoutout sa'yo, Lodi. Shoutout kay Carl Domingo. Shoutout. Shoutout tayo kay Carl Domingo. Ayan, sinatot na kita. Follow nyo yung YouTube account ko guys, para naman ayan, follow rin kayo sa YouTube channel natin, para naman maganda-ganda yung pag-live natin araw-araw. Follow nyo yung natin. Wala pa tayong giveaway. Mag-send kayo ng Gcash ko para makaipon tayo pang giveaway. Ayan na guys.
Worked out pretty good.
It did. Full court press. Get your energy up. Active hands. Get the strip. And Kent Bazemore on the other side knows how to finish.
Marquise Chris passed up the three there. Shot clock at 9. Wanamaker on the toss back. Shot clock at 3. And Bazemore's got to bail him out, and he does.
The poise under pressure. That's why they got him. That's why he's here.
Now, Facundo Campazzo from Real Madrid has checked in for Denver. I'm anxious to see him as Jokic drops that in.
Think J.J. Barea.
Okay.
With him. That's who he reminds people of. He's got that aggressiveness and the quickness at his size. He can get penetration. Tough, gritty player. Obviously, he's small, but he has a big heart.
He's a great passer. They call him the magician. But Campazzo with Monte Morris, they're playing that kind of mighty might backcourt. So I like the Barea thing because the Mavericks used to do that a lot. And we've got the foul as Jokic cut down the lane.
Nikola Jokic, you can do a lot with him. Obviously, they're rolling to the basket. Got to be alert on the weak side. Make it tough on him at the rim.
You mentioned Mason Plumlee leaving, but JaMychal Green has checked in. And so JaMychal Green was acquisition coming over from the Clippers, playing with Campazzo and Monte Morris, PJ Dozier. And then right down the lane, we have Juan Toscano-Anderson committing the foul.
So that time Juan Toscano got in from the weak side. Tried to meet him at the top. It's got him with the body a little bit. It's tough with those pick and rolls.
Isaiah Hartenstein had been in Houston for a couple years, and this is the backup depth. When you lose Jeremy Grant and you lose Plumlee, you're looking for bodies there. The new Warriors Oakland Forever gear is here. 47 years in Oakland, forever part of the DNA. And you can rep Oakland by visiting the Warriors shop at Thrive City. Limited supplies available for the holidays. That Oakland Forever stuff, you see Steph in the jersey there, they can't keep it on the shelves.
Oh,
I mean,
it's amazing.
It's like the amount of merchandise of Oakland Forever has equaled like post-championship merchandise levels. That's the interest in that Oakland Forever.
I love it. I love it. There's a jersey.
There's going to be a court. We're going to see some home games that have that court. And that's Kalena Azubuike, we believe, Oakland Forever stuff. I'm loving that.
I'm with it.
Beautiful pass, but Bazemore couldn't finish.
He does move well without the ball, too.
Michael Green off iron. Hartenstein working that glass, and Jordan Poole going to let it out. Now, we're going to talk to Joe Lacob and Bob Myers throughout the broadcast, so we'll get the boss on in the second quarter. But I think everybody with the Warriors excited for the team to be back, but also how's this team going to look? What are the combos going to be like? Who's going to play well with each other? I mean, it's just been a fun conversation from everybody associated with the franchise.
Well, Joe Lacob is a winner, and that's one thing we saw with him in the offseason. He is not afraid to spend that money, and he did everything he could to address the issues that the Warriors had. Brought in Kelly Oubre Jr., obviously with Clay going down. Everybody was sad to see that, but that's everything. Having an owner that wants to win at all costs.
Well, also, too, in terms of the luxury tax, Joe Lacob, Peter Guber, and the Warrior ownership was like, the fan base is too good and been too loyal. We're going to spend the money.
Yeah.
And you don't have a lot of owners that do that to that level.
Yeah. The ownership is on it.
I think Bob Myers said it at the James Wiseman, Nico Mannion press conference. I've never been told no financially. Can we be better? Let's be better.
Yeah. Bob Myers had to be like, are you sure? Okay.
Monte Morris missing the floater. Hartenstein inside. And that's one, if you're the Warriors and you want to have calling card be the defense, the defensive stop's not done until you pull the rebound. On Toscano-Anderson. Missing off iron there. And that last roster spot, Michael Mulder, Juan Toscano-Anderson, Alex Tupon, it's a battle to see who's going to make this team.
There's going to be some healthy competition, so you want to be assertive, especially now.
Look at Campazzo. You can travel in Europe, but not in the NBA. The little double dribble. Leon Wood said, I've seen enough of that in Argentina.
Campazzo's solid. He just needs to be more consistent all the way around with his jumper. You talked about his passing ability. He's got a high basketball IQ.
Well, the thing is, you play at Real Madrid. The ACB League is the second best league in the world outside of the NBA. Luka Doncic was in the ACB League. Okay, so if you start to show out there, then teams start to look at you. And Denver been scouting him for a couple years, actually. Jordan Poole, that's a strong move. Created his own shot, rose up for it, new haircut and all, and the three-point play opportunity.
Fresh. We talked about Jordan Poole. Refocus last year. He rejects the ball screen. A little indecision. Hartenstein's not close enough. Rise up and take your shot with confidence. Gotta love it. Again, he was trending in the right direction before that shutdown. And his confidence right now is through the roof. And he's trying to be a staple in the rotation and show the coaching staff, hey, I'm ready to take that next step.
I'll tell you, the Warrior minicamp in September, he was the best player. He was fantastic. Campazzo. P.J. Dozier will step into a three, but now that's a mistake in terms of when you contest threes, it's got to be like that, punter in football, fly across him and not into the shooter and land on him.
This is a bad trend in the NBA, fouling shooters. And we used to do a little drill growing up in basketball camps in second, third grade, fourth grade, where you chop your feet on the closeout and close out under control. So you don't run into the shooter or come up under the shooter. Like you said, flying by on the shooting hand side is an option. But you just have to have some discipline. And I know you're in recovery mode there. Obviously, Jordan Poole was in help position trying to clog up that roll, and then you got to fire back out. Defense in the NBA is tough, but have to remember to stay disciplined there. And when you're trying to recover out to a shooter, contest, go as straight up as you can under control.
Well, you think about it, and this is directly from the Houston playbook. The most efficient scoring play in the NBA is 3 free throws from a decent three-point shooter. It's even better, great three-point shooters only make them 40% of the time, right?
Right.
But if you're an 80% free thrower and you get 3 free throws, you're going to have more than 2 points on that possession. So you just don't want to foul three-point shooters.
It's one of the cardinal sins, foul a jump shooter.
How about Marquise Chris?
Gotta love him. He was playing well last year. He's one of my favorite guys to watch on this team. Understands how to roll to the basket hard. He's got really good hands, super athletic. He had some crazy highlights last year with some blocks, some crazy dunks, alley-oop catches.
Well, that was smart. He retreated, did not commit the foul, forced the miss, and then here are the Warriors in transition again. We're going to say that a lot this year. Jordan Poole catch and shoot 3, and he drops it in.
Kent Bazemore made that happen. Leading the break, get into the paint, draw the defense in, kick it out. One more pass, wide open. Good look.
Kind of liking this second unit.
They're working.
Wanamaker and Poole
putting a little something together here.
So the final 8 seconds of the first quarter. Campazza with a little 1-4 set. Drop it in. Nearly deflected. Monte Morris. And that'll be well short. So the Warriors, they started making threes. They got into transition.
Okay. Tapos na yung first quarter, guys. First quarter, tapos na. Shoutout na naman tayo kay Cyril, kay Leo Lee, kay 3030. Shoutout sa inyo, mga lods. Kay Jasa Sil. Salamat, guys. Salamat. Salamat sa mga nanonood dyan. Shoutout sa inyo, guys. Shoutout sa mga bago dyan. Follow nyo yung page natin, then yung YouTube account ko. Yun lang kasimple. Follow nyo lang. Follow lang. Share nyo yung stream natin, guys, habang time out. Tapos nung wala pang idol. Share nyo yung stream. Kay Al Hermata, shoutout sa'yo. Salamat, idol. Subscribe nyo rin channel ko, yung Facebook, saka yung YouTube channel ko, guys. Subscribe nyo muna habang wala pa. Jason Rojas, yan, salamat. Shoutout sa mga viewers natin dyan. Taga-saan ba kayo? Magpapa-shoutout dyan, magpa-shoutout na lang kayo. Bosabos Idol, Bosabos TV. Bosabos TV. Mali yung nandito eh. Mali yan eh. Shoutout kay Alea, Jason Marquez. Bosabos Idol, Bosabos.
Oubre, Brad Wanamaker, and Kent Bazemore, and really your financial commitment to making sure Bob Myers has all the resources to do what he wants to improve the team. Talk about that.
Well, we had a very tough thing happen to us, of course, with Clay's injury, second year in a row. But we had to do something, and I think we're very fortunate to have had the ability to go and get Kelly Oubre, and we're very happy also with Wanamaker and some of the other additions as well.
That's awesome.
You talked about it's more just a reward to the fans, so that you're so competitive, but the fans have been so loyal that you got to spend the money. Just for Dub Nation, you're not going to sit idly by and have a season go by the wayside if you can have other resources to make it happen differently.
Well, you know, the thing is, we're in a situation where we have some of our best players are in their primes, and we just can't let that go by without giving them the best opportunity to win. And I'm referring, of course, to Steph, and unfortunately Clay's not here right now, but Draymond. And we just felt like we had to do it. It was a tough situation. We already had a high salary structure, but you know, we pulled the trigger.
Joe, when you talk about the new city edition jerseys, Oakland Forever, and obviously the court at times is going to have Oakland on it, and just making sure the people of Oakland realize that the Warriors organization's thinking about them, and this is the Bay Area's team.
Yes, it is. We are the Bay Area team. We've said that all along, of course. We're San Francisco, we're Oakland, and we represent all of them. And we want everybody to know that, in fact, that's the case. And how about that move by Bazemore right now? He's having a hell of a first showing for us.
I tell you, the nice thing with a Bazemore and a Brad Wanamaker and an Oubre is that the Warriors are so young, but these are some vets that chose to come here that fill in some gaps for Steve Kerr that I think are going to be kind of fun to watch throughout the year.
Well, we have, Bob, you might know the answer. I think it's 9 players with a 7-foot-plus wingspan now. So it's pretty interesting. As we were putting the team together, we were starting to realize this, and we made it even more of a target. And even Bazemore's a 7-foot wingspan. So we're bad turnover. But you know, we're really excited about that aspect, that we think we can be a good defensive team and maybe turn some defense into offense.
Joe, we were talking about how athletic the Warriors are now. Bringing in Kelly Oubre, obviously Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman. There's going to be some highlights going on, but getting out in transition and being able to run and taking advantage of that athleticism.
Absolutely. And, you know, I'm very excited about our team actually this year. And I know Steph and I have talked, and we both feel that way. We just feel that if Oubre and Wiggins, so goes them, kind of so goes the team. We know what Steph's going to be.
Yep.
But we need those guys to, and Draymond, of course, we need those guys to really, this is it. They're 25 years old, both of them. This is the time for them to really make the case for their careers. And if they can be as good as we think they can be, you know, I think we can be a pretty good team.
How about the logistics of Operation Dub Nation, Joe? I mean, you have advanced degrees in epidemiology. You're fully aware of, you know, the world we live in, health and science-wise. And to have same-day rapid PCR testing, which is the Rolls-Royce gold standard of health testing for everyone to come into this building, no franchise has done this anywhere in the world.
That's true. And, you know, honestly, we believe that this is probably the safest place you can be right here at, what is it, 615 on the West Coast? Right now, this place right here, everyone in this building is tested. Doesn't matter who you are, with a rapid PCR test, gold standard. And, you know, even if we had, frankly, a lot more people in this building, we think it would be very safe. So that's our goal. We had a plan to have fans, of course, with what's going on out there in terms of number of cases and the public health officials, and we weren't able to convince them to do anything with respect to fans, but we'll see. Maybe we prove how well it works, and by later on in the season, maybe we can do it.
I thought it was pretty painless today. We both got tested. It was pretty efficient, relatively quick process, so man, looking forward to it.
And I'm very curious to hear comments. Nice shot. Comments from the media who also got tested. I'm dying to see their comments. Well, I thought it was a good process.
Well, see, the NBA performed a great example in Orlando in that when you have testing and you have people wearing masks and you have people being safe, 3 months and no positive tests. And so if everybody that walks into the structure had a PCR test today, and I agree with you, Joe, that this is the safest place to be maybe in the world right now, because we're in a building where every single person in here has been tested and tested negative, which is why they were allowed entry into the building in the first place.
Exactly, and everyone's wearing masks, of course, unless you're playing on the court. So we're doing everything we can, of course, to make it as safe as possible. Nothing's perfect. This virus is a pretty tough thing, but we think that we can make it a very safe place.
Now, Wanamaker didn't assume that layup was going to be made, and so he stays with it. Denver takes time as the Warriors push it to 14. Boss, hang on, and we'll talk to you in the next segment. Joe Lacob is staying with us, and the Warrior depth in defense on display. Vision, a number 7 and a Kalena Azubuike in the same type of deal. We are hanging out with Joe Lacob at Chase Center as the Warriors have built a 14-point lead with 9.5 remaining in the second quarter. And, you know, Joe, it's either strength and length or size matters or transition defense and whatever slogan you want to come up with. But the style we've seen the last couple minutes is how the Warriors have to play this year.
I call it lockdown and go. Lockdown and go.
All right.
You know, a little bit of a, the lockdown thing.
Picking up full court. Look at these guys.
Yes, I love it. Actually, this is going to be a fun style of play for our fans to watch on television, not in person, unfortunately. But it could be a really fun team, and I think it's fun for the players to play in this kind of system, too.
Yeah, they're overwhelming them right now. They can't think.
Now, your basketball operations staff, when you got Bob Myers and Kirk Lacob and Kent Lacob and Larry Harris and Mike Dunleavy, there's a talent component, but also there's a character component. And that's where a Bazemore, you know, we know because he's friends with Steph. Wanamaker, highly regarded. Oubre wanted to be here. Is that, you know, that is equally important sometimes as to the talent is how guys fit and get along and play together.
Oh, absolutely. Character matters. I think we all know that. And especially with our organization, led by Steph and Steve as our coach, I just think character is incredibly important, whether it be the draft, free agency, whenever we're adding people to the team. You know, we want to make sure that they're all going to fit in what we're trying to build as a whole. It's almost as important as the individual pieces themselves. It's how they fit together and how they their character.
And that also mattered as you, Steve, and Bob flew around to look at draft selections. And James Wiseman, I think, impressed you guys not only with what he's able to do physically, but also in getting to know him a little bit as well.
Absolutely. I'm not going to put down any of the other players. There were some nice players, but he really impressed us. He was the first player we saw, Bob. And just his demeanor, his maturity for a 19-year-old, his character, his desire. I mean, we just thought he's really the kind of guy we want to have in this organization.
Wanamaker's got to play beat the clock, and he does with a nice reverse layup. And Brad Wanamaker has fit in nicely in that role, subbing in for Steph and kind of running this second unit.
Again, poised under pressure. The shot clock's running down. Don't panic. Just take your time. Make your moves.
Smiley with the block.
Smiley's going to do something when he's in the game. Good or bad, he's going to make something happen.
And you can see all the guys in the white jerseys. After that block, it's a sprint up court. Joe says lock down and go. All right. How about the block and go? And Smiley missed the three there. Now, Denver, Utah, Lakers, Clippers. That's probably the upper echelon of the West, Joe. But can you remember the Western Conference being as deep as this year is going to be? Because one of the things you guys voted on as owners is this new play-in tournament, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's your thoughts on that?
I like it. I think it's, hopefully we're better than that and don't have to play in. But I think it's really exciting for the fans, and I just think it adds something to the game. And you're right about the Western Conference. It is so deep. And good. We've got to play really hard, as do all the teams in the West, quite frankly, to make the playoffs. Never mind, excel.
Joe, what do you think about the baseball style traveling? Maybe a little more efficient, fly in, play a couple games, the same team, then fly to the next city. Probably the best way to keep everybody safe, keep the virus from transmitting.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, obviously. And look, this is not an easy year. The NBA did a great job in the bubble. I think they're doing a great job at trying to organize a season that we can somehow have. I mean, this is obviously not easy in the middle of a pandemic, though, we all think it's going to get better now with the vaccine. But it's tough, and so I think scheduling does matter. Every little thing we can do to keep players safe and to try to minimize some of the potential issues.
I think, Joe, Orlando and the successful completion of the season, and then you're talking about how they're going to travel and the protocols for this. There's an ownership-player collaboration in this league that really is unlike the other professional leagues. It sure seems like Michelle Roberts and Chris Paul can talk to Adam Silver and your owners and come up with kind of putting your best foot forward as a league and as a sport. And I don't know if we see that kind of cooperation in the other major sports.
We do have a great relationship that Adam and the league officials, league executives have fostered with the Players Association that really, obviously, is very necessary at this point in time in history, and it's paying off in a lot of respects. So I do give the players a lot of credit for being good team players, essentially, because we're all sacrificing here, and we're all trying to bring NBA basketball in a tough year home to our fans.
You were talking to Steph Curry courtside right as the warm-ups ended. Just as Joe Lacob, the basketball fan, how nice is it to see 30 out there running around again?
Makes me so happy. Honestly, I get happy just coming here to see it.
He has that effect on people. There's no two ways about it.
He's great. He's the best. And such a great guy, as we all know. But when he's out there, the first thing you notice is, I hate to say this, but there's so many great players in this league, but he's just better. I mean, he's so skilled, and you notice it right away when you're here and you watch him play.
One thing about Steph is he is super competitive, and he wants to win. And obviously, he has owners, you and Peter Gruber, that feel the same way. And I'm sure he appreciates you guys making sure you spend the money and surrounding him with supporting cast that is going to be able to compete and make some noise. Obviously, there's a lot of new faces, but he and Draymond Green, they're looking to make some noise this season, and obviously you guys have helped him out.
Absolutely. We're doing everything we can. The Clay injury, that's pretty hard to overcome.
It is.
That's a huge percentage of your cap in terms of salary, and also the quality, the skill level that you're losing with a Klay Thompson being gone. It's hard. You can't replace it, to be honest. But we're trying to do the best we can. We've got some young players that we're developing, like Eric Paschall. Oubre coming in, I think, could be really good. And we're going to do everything we can to give them everything we can to succeed.
All right, we're going to let you go at the next break, but has the 10 years owning the team flown by? 7 playoff seasons, 5 trips to the finals, 3 championships, a brand new building. It's not bad for 10 years of ownership.
Well, thank you. And I do feel that way sometimes, that it's flown by. On the other hand, sometimes it feels like an eternity. I didn't need this whole pandemic thing.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, the list of accomplishments for the 10 years, but also we've seen, there was a David West and Zaza and Sean Livingston and Andre Iguodala, but now this is the time for Steph, Clay, and Draymond to be the leaders of this team. They've become the old guys. It's an interesting transition. And yes. Curry right on cue, missing that shot.
Yes. Well, it's their time, and we're going to try to do the best we can, as we said, to help these guys win. They've got to do it on the court. We can only do so much. It's all up to the players, truthfully, and the coaches.
Well, you could tell they were itching to get back out here the way they were playing. Just super active on both ends of the floor. Obviously bringing their own. That's the one thing about not having fans in the arena. You have to bring your own energy, and they've done a great job of that. Whatever you got to do in the locker room before, if you dance a little harder, maybe go a little harder in warm-ups, whatever it is, bring your own energy out here, and the Warriors are showing that.
They're playing really hard, and you got to appreciate that if you're a fan.
Well, look at the adjustment. Wiggins missed that 1-3, but he was the first guy back on defense, so Denver couldn't run it back. Remember early on, Kalena, when he had hit that shot, and he had a basket hanger run past him for the layup on the other end. So, Andrew Wiggins, he is also going to be a factor with Oubre. And to Joe's point, of all the players with 7-foot wingspan or more, Wiggins is a very long 3 at the small forward spot.
Joe, how much did Wiggins impress you, especially last year defensively? Come in, obviously a lot of issues, injuries, everything, but his attitude and his work on the defensive end, getting steals, being active with his hands and that long reach that he has. Do you feel like that's going to be a huge asset for them this year?
I do. I mean, Wiggins is at that point in his career. I think we all know this. This is it. This is his chance to shine. He's finally playing with great coaches and a great team, good organization, and this is it. He's 25 years old. He's right in the beginning of his prime, and I think he knows it, and we all know it. And this is his chance to put his imprint on the NBA game.
And the thing with Andrew is there's not a lot of 25-year-olds that have a 20-point per game career average already. But I think the way he will score with the Warriors will be different. I think in Minnesota, he had a lot on his shoulders and sometimes had to break off plays for his own offense. When you have Steph and you have Draymond, and then you're going to throw in guys like Oubre and Wiseman and Paschall and others, I think Andrew doesn't have to have the weight of the world on his shoulders. And
setting screens, cutting, and taking advantage of the attention that Steph is going to draw is really critical. How much did you guys think about that when picking up guys?
Well, I think we all know that, and there's no doubt that that's true. And I think, look, Wiggins and Oubre are the key. I think, obviously, Draymond has to be Draymond. Our number 2 draft choice obviously has to develop over the course of the year and be worthy of being the number 2 pick. Steph has to be Steph. But I think the key to the team, for me, is the wings. And Wiggins and Oubre, this is their time, and they need to deliver and be essential components. And
now you're
sitting
to do it. You're sitting in a similar spot that you normally do during the regular season. Is it interesting to see the Warrior golf team sitting across from you, that the coaches all get to wear the polo shirts? I think that's a great look.
Yeah, I hope they're more comfortable. I'm still wearing a sport coat.
I mean, this is.
Oh yeah, here we go. Come on.
Curry does not miss usually the catch and shoot, but the extra effort.
Yeah.
And the Warriors couldn't quite get the possession, and here comes Murray pushing the other way.
Hey, Gary Harris was fortunate there. He came off Steph's body. Got to stay on him.
And Michael Porter, that was good attachment by Looney. Don't leave Porter any airspace at all. Well, Pascal on Millsap, setting up Looney. And Kevon, a little show and go, and he'll get himself to the line. He kind of pulled a Jokic on Jokic.
How do you like that footwork? Pivot game. Taste of your own medicine. Looked like he was dead in the water and just drop-stepped. Got it up. Got the foul.
That was good. You know, the good news, you guys, here is we're up 11. We're playing pretty well, and Steph has 3 points in this game.
True.
You know what, Joe? No more talking to him before the game then.
It's my fault.
That's what it was?
It's my fault.
Think about this, Joe, because obviously you were a season ticket holder even before you bought the team. Wiseman, Looney, Marquise Chris. When have the Warriors had depth at the center spot like that? You had Andrew Bogut, who we all love and who just retired, and you had acquired a JaVale McGee, and you added a Zaza Pachulia, but there's 3 guys at the 5 that can play a little basketball.
Well, we've had this by committee center positions in the past, as you guys know, but usually it was with older guys that we kind of got a last year or 2 out of. In this case, we've got 3 young players, all with a lot of potential. So I'm actually very excited about our center position. I think if we develop, we can be pretty good.
Warriors are contesting shots. There was another good contest on the Jamal Murray. They threw that one away.
You see Gary Harris, though. He's such a good defender. He was waiting for Steph to pass that, and he cut in front of Pascal. And for Denver, they're looking for Harris's 3-point shot to come back. That was kind of MIA for them in the playoffs.
It was.
There's Looney running the floor again.
Yes! That's Steph.
There we go.
Listen, he's only got 3 points, but he's making things happen. Steph Curry's energy is incredible. 2 defenders are going to stay with him. That's going to happen a lot. You got to be ready to attack, and Kevon Looney was. Jamal Murray got over there from the weak side, jumped a little early. Look at the poise. Just a little shot fake. Understands how to finish.
Coletta, the story for the first half. Curry chastised by owner as Warriors build a 15-point lead.
Easy.
It's so good to see Kevon healthy, though, Joe. He's gone through so much to get his body back in shape.
He's moving well, right? Looks good.
People forget how good he was for us a few years ago in the playoffs, and he can be a very important member of this team if he can stay healthy.
Michael Green floating that in.
I
think Kevon also, too, Joe, is your mentor for Wiseman. I think that's
Draymond, Kevon. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a big helping another young big as Pascal rattles it up and out with the left hand and knocked out of bounds. So that will take us to the mandatory timeout. Joe, so much fun talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks for Operation Dub Nation.
Shoutout muna tayo. Shoutout muna tayo dyan. Edward Saldana. Ayan, shoutout sa'yo, idol. Shoutout muna. Shoutout muna tayo dyan. Nagpapa-shoutout dyan. Magpa-shoutout na kayo habang time out. Ito naman sabi mo sa Warriors. Wala naman. Okay lang. Lakers fans kasi ako, hindi ako Warrior. Kaya hindi ko masyadong, wala akong comment sa kanila. Laker ako eh, Laker boy ako eh. Awit healthy ng player ng GSW. Feeling bro. Shoutout kay Bong, kay Prince. Pa-shoutout na kayo habang na pa oh. Timeout pa, timeout. Share downloads. Salamat TJ. Pa-follow na rin ng ano natin page sa YouTube account. Salamat, napakaangas ng live. Salamat. Thank you TJ. Thank you sa'yo. Shoutout kay Sherwin. Ayan, shoutout sa'yo Sherwin. Okay, game na ulit.
Chance to receive early access to Warrior tickets for the 2021 season when they become available, presented by Kaiser Permanente, plus access to limited season tickets at Chase Center. Check it out at 888-GSW-HOOP. And Joe Lacob talked about it. PCR testing every fan, every person that ever comes into Chase Center. You wear a mask, and hopefully, whether it's a couple months down the road, that becomes a possibility. But the Warriors will be leading the way in terms of health and safety and the care for the fans as well as the players and everybody that works here.
Yeah, like we were talking about with Joe, is relatively painless. Fluid situation, stay flexible, do what you got to do to stay safe, take the test, and we're all in here.
Well, the thing is, the Warriors are going to lead the way, Kalena, really for the league. There's too many smart people and too many resources and too much technology in the Bay Area. They're going to create the model that hopefully other teams can follow. And tonight was the first step in trying to prove that everybody can be safe and take care of ourselves while we do this.
Well, they're just so forward thinking. When it comes to every department, marketing too. It's just everything the Warriors do top notch.
And I love that Wiggins was there on Porter to force that air balls. That don't assume he's not going to get that off in time. Andrew Wiggins sold out to make that a very difficult closeout, and then Porter airballed it. 24-second violation.
This is how the Warriors have to play. They've been the more aggressive team really on both sides of the floor. They're getting fast break points, super aggressive defensively with their hands, activity.
Wiggins top of the key jumper. Well, I would say, partner, they've had 277 days off, so they're rested.
Couldn't wait to get out here.
they're rested. The only Warrior that played in the playoffs in the bubble was Wanamaker.
Gotta love what Andrew Wiggins is doing. Just stop kind of the no man's land as the Denver Nuggets are trying to switch that little exchange.
See, now look at Pascal, year 1 to year 2. He didn't reach down to commit a foul. He just moved his body, and then the ball was lost out of bounds, created the turnover. Young guys reach and get that chopping down where they get the whistle. Pascal played that like a veteran.
Eric is going to continue to improve in every area, and defensively is one of those areas. Look at him on time from the weak side, just kept his hands up and made Jamal Murray have to go around him. Problem was for Jamal Murray, that was out of bounds.
So did you ever change anything in your shooting motion? Because remember, we talked about Pascal this offseason had to change that little hitch that he had his whole life. And we already saw one jumper that looked very, very good.
Not when I was in the NBA. I got all my changing out before I got to the NBA. But he's been working on it. And you can tell it looks more smooth. There's no wasted motion with his jumper, that little hitch. He's not hanging a little too long. That's the one thing with jump shooters that they always have an issue with. That release has to be at the top of your jump or before. Right. If you release it after the top of your jump, you're going to be shooting with your hands. It's going to be short a lot. So that's what he's been working on.
You think Oubre can guard point guards? It made Murray give it up. And then there's Millsap hitting from deep. But Kelly Oubre was doing his little Klay Thompson impersonation there, guarding Jamal Murray.
He competes on that end. He is a tough customer.
And Wiggins, he took Michael Porter to task and got all the way to the iron.
You love Andrew Wiggins being aggressive. and he can get downhill. When he is assertive and looking to get to the basket and just play his game, he is so tough to guard because he's so athletic. He's got the length, the quick first step. And once he gets to the rim, he may dunk on you. His finishing game is on point.
Wiggins already with 8, missed the first free throw and curled out the second one. At halftime, we're going to kind of delineate some of the changes in this season. It's definitely not your 82 gamer, and the playoff system's a little different. There's a lot to talk about.
See Looney switch for
Yep.
Steph there. It was a stagger ball screen. Steph got hung up, so Looney recognizes, switched out, and now they're going to reward themselves by, almost thought they were.
But that's Kelly in the corner, though, and that was off of Wiggins' delivery as Steph pushed it. So
Those are the kind of threes you want to shoot. That was a
right.
good look in transition off of a stop.
And this time Looney will be called for the kind of excuse me foul on Millsap. You know, there's a question on Denver in that Murray's elite, Jokic is elite, Porter's a comer. Is Paul Millsap, is he crested the top of the mountain on the way down?
He's on the way down. He's on the way down, but he's a guy you still want on your team because he's a great locker room presence, a leader. He had some big moments in the playoffs in the bubble last season where they really needed a spark, and he came in and gave it to him. And so he's a guy you still want. But look, athletically, he's not the most athletic guy in the world. He's going to play more of a floor game. He's got good post game and all those things. But look, you can still take advantage of him on the defensive side, as Steph just did there, just kind of blew past him, weaving through the defense.
Were you wondering if Curry's handles had slowed down at all?
I saw him working before the game. He looked good. Got the headband. Look, just behind the back. That is tough. High ball screen. And when they set it that high, Curry's going to have a ton of space to maneuver and work his magic like he did there. And he's got all the handle in the world. He's always working on that. Did it again this summer. All the nuanced ways you can work on your handle technology. He's doing all of that.
I'm waiting for the ugliness in the fight on who shoots the technical free throws, because Brad Wanamaker was 93% and led the NBA in free throw percentage last year. I mean, is he and Curry, do they have to arm wrestle to shoot those tees?
Nah, Steph's going to get that.
Okay.
He's got to let the shooter do it. He's the shooter. He's the guy. It's his team. When he's out of the game, you step to the line.
There you go. Shot clock at 6. And there's Millsap. We said working on that 3. How about that? So Paul Millsap, later in his career now, kind of adding that tool to his game. Shot clock off, final 3 seconds. Pascal, kick it out to Wiggins, his 3, and that'll do it. But I'll tell you, for the Warriors and the Nuggets, 77-day layoff for Denver, 277 days for the Warriors.